Okay, you call yourself a Republican. Are you okay with cutting Medicaid? Are you okay with cutting food programs that feed the needy? Are you okay with cutting energy programs that keep the heat on for seniors and kids? Are you for that? Because that's what the Trump bill does. It cuts 13.5 million people off of health care. 13.5 million people will have no coverage if this passes. Tens of thousands of kids will be kicked off of food programs. They won't be able to get food. And countless numbers of seniors will have their power shut off at important times like during the winter. This is the Republican bill. And my question to you is, do you call yourself a Republican? And if you do, why are you for something so terrible? I'm just asking.
The government voted to cut Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP benefits. And literally, it's just a tax break for the billionaires. The people who are already wealthy, they're just going to be making more money, while people who make like less than $50,000 a year are going to actually be making less money. Like, my thing is, if there's the 1% who is extremely wealthy and is hoarding all of the wealth, and then everyone else is just, living paycheck to paycheck, or everyone is just, trying to get by, are these like billionaires and like company owners and CEOs not aware? Like, if you guys are hoarding all the wealth, like nobody's going to be able to afford shit from you guys. Like, if Medicare gets cut, Medicaid and SNAP, and people have to come out of pocket to pay for all of those things that they actually had the benefits for, then they're not going to be able to afford all the other capitalistic shit. So like, these companies aren't going to be actually getting the money that they think they're going to be getting. Like, I kind of think that this is going to be backfiring because people are not going to be able to afford shit from these large companies. They're just going to get the basic things that they need because now they're being literally forced to pay for things that they had the benefits to cover.
Hey, Maga. Republicans decided last night, early wee hours, to sneak in cuts to Medicare, not just Medicaid. Now it's Medicare. They just snuck it in. You know why? Because they need money for those tax cuts. That's all they care about.
So last night, while all the Americans were sleeping, the House was busy passing that big, beautiful bill cutting Medicaid and food stamps to the poorest people. That's right, it goes on to the next step after changes have been made that we have no idea what they are. Considering that Republicans that voted against it the other day said there wasn't enough cuts to Medicaid and food stamps, while these sit in the Congress and get free health care, while they say you to the rest of us. How in the world can you still support these
Today we are diving into a topic that's stirring significant concern across the nation: the recent legislative actions proposing substantial cuts to essential social programs like Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP benefits. These proposed cuts are not just numbers on a page. They represent real-life implications for millions of Americans, particularly the most vulnerable among US, the poor, the elderly, the disabled, and children. In this video, we'll unpack the details of these proposed budget cuts, explore their potential impacts, and discuss broader implications for our society. To understand the gravity of these proposed cuts, let's look at the specific. The legislation in question suggests slashing approximately $880 billion from Medicaid and an additional $500 billion from Medicare. These figures are staggering and could lead to nearly 14 million Americans losing their healthcare coverage. Moreover, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, commonly known as SNAP, is also on chopping block, with proposed cuts amounting to $300 billion over the next decade. This move could result in millions of families struggling to put food on the table. Proponents of the bill argue that these cuts are necessary to fund tax reductions and to stimulate economic growth. However, critics highlight that the burden of these cuts falls disproportionately on those who are already struggling, effectively widening the gap between the rich and the poor. The proposed changes also include stricter eligibility requirements and increased work mandates for assistance programs, which could further disfranchise those in need.
In case you forgot, we pay for Medicare. Yep, go check your pay stub. We pay for it. So where are the cuts coming from? Where are they going?
So in order to pay for Trump's tax cuts to the rich, the Republicans are cutting $1 trillion from Medicaid and food stamps. We're going to give more to the 1% by taking more away from those living below the poverty line.
Do you MAGA nurses, I can't believe that's a fucking demographic that exists, but do you MAGA nurses not realize that if these Medicaid cuts come through, you're going to lose your job? Like, nursing homes and rural hospitals and mental health facilities, those places are going to shut down. You're not going to have a job. Like, nursing, which has always been this safety net, like, oh, I can always find a job anywhere, it's going to completely ruin it. Like, I know you don't care about poor people or elderly or disabled, but have some fucking self-preservation. Your cult is so embarrassing.
And confirmed. Not only will the big beautiful bill be cutting Medicaid and SNAP, it'll also be cutting Medicare as well, in the amount of $1.2 trillion.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
Beyond the immediate financial implications, these proposed cuts could have far-reaching consequences on the nation's healthcare infrastructure. Hospitals, especially those in rural areas, could face closure due to reduced funding, leading to job losses and diminished access to care for entire communities. Nursing homes and mental health facilities, which heavily rely on Medicaid funding, might also be forced to shut down, leaving vulnerable populations without essential services. The ripple effect of these closures would not only affect patients but also the healthcare professionals who serve them. Furthermore, the proposed cuts to energy assistance programs could leave countless seniors and low-income families without heat during the winter months, posing serious health risks. It's also important to consider the administrative aspects of these changes. The introduction of more stringent eligibility checks and work requirements could create bureaucratic hurdles that prevent eligible individuals from accessing the assistance they need. Critics argue that these measures are not just about budgetary concerns, but represent a shift in priorities that favor the wealthy at the expense of the most vulnerable. They point out that in a nation as affluent as the United States, it's unconscionable to reduce support for those in need while providing tax breaks to the rich individuals and corporations. The reaction from the public has been intense, with many expressing outrage and disbelief. Some voters who previously supported the politicians backing these cuts are now voicing regret, realizing the personal impact of these policies. In conclusion, while physical responsibility is essential, it's crucial to balance budgetary considerations with moral imperative to support and protect our most vulnerable citizens. As this legislation moves forward, it's imperative for all of us to stay informed, engaged, and vocal about the kind of society we want to build. Anyway, guys, drop a comment, let me know what your thoughts are, and also remember to subscribe, like, and share as well. And until next time, bye-bye.